finish the agenda of the day. Let me introduce myself. My name is Khosi Tsile Mulete, Pell Inspector, AME Examinations. From CAA will be joined by Mr. Bernard Matumba and Mr. Vic Potgieter from training. I just need to, before we start, to ask if there's anyone who has a problem if we recorded the meeting. It's not a meeting exactly, it's the workshop we have. If there's anyone who's having a problem with the recording.
We don't have a problem as long as you make it available for us after the meeting, sir.
Yes, I think that will be explained. How do you access it after the workshop? We'll let you know where you go to access the recording, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. On the background from the communication side of SACAA, will be having Mr. Sen, who will be helping us with the technicalities of the online meetings. Anything that you'll be maybe talking to on the side with me, I'll let you know, guys, about it. I will share my screen just now. I need to switch off my camera as I have introduced myself. Then I can continue sharing the agenda of the day and how do we progress from there. So thank you very much. Can somebody confirm if they see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you. So today we are doing the EDE workshop. So I will firstly introduce the agenda of the day. We'll have the rules of engagement, meet and greet, ASO structure, purpose of the workshop, ICAO background information regarding the EDE, purpose of the test or check in accordance to our TGM and the the ICAO, attributes and qualification of EDE, conflict of interest. So our first on the agenda will be rules of engagement. So we need to set up this rule so that we all know how are we going to interact moving forward during this time of the workshop. So the interaction is encouraged. I will challenge you by name or collective. I can appreciate even if you call me Khosi, is fine by me. The pronunciation of names sometimes is a problem, but I think all of us will bear with each other. You have access to the SACA website during the meeting. Be ready to consult the TGM and civil aviation regulations. We'll have a 10 minutes break during the workshop. Please keep your microphones muted all the time. You'll be requested to fill the attendance register. Once it's in our chats, you'll see it, and then you can please fill it, and the comment forms as well. And hope we enjoy the workshop. So I don't know if there's any questions regarding this before we move. Can I advise something, Mr. Matumba, on your side, or Mr. Sin? Can you advise me if there's any hand? Because while I'm sharing the screen, I think I can't see hands.
Okay. Okay. Morning, everyone. Okay, Jose, I think we'll do that. I'll check on that one.
Okay, Mr. Matumba, thank you very much. The first on our agenda, it's meet and greet. I think we will just switch on the video once I call your name. If you are available, just switch on your video. Name of the EDE, your name, your organization, where you coming from, the trade that you are designated under, and the years of experience in the industry. I think we maybe a minute or so just to know each other and just for the purpose of the recording as well. So on my side, I think I'll start with Mr. Chris Kraft.
Hi, good morning, everybody. It's Chris here. Years in the trade. See, 1991. So, yeah, I don't know what the maths is on that, but many years. Currently at Mega Aero Training Academy, head of training and EDE, trade test officer, trade test moderator, class 1 instructor, and AME for wingman and Safamar aviation maintenance, and also responsible person aircraft for SAO.
Thank you, Mr. Kraft. On my side, I see Mr. Baholi.
Yes, good morning, everybody. Bahuli Ngobese. I don't have a video, so you can't see my face, but yeah, anyway. Qualified structures, a SME, traders officer for SA Technical. Qualified 2009. Been doing this instructing thing now for, I think, 2 or 3 years.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Robbie Glad.
Hi, everybody. My name is Robbie Glad. I work at 43 Air School, and I've been in the trade for about 30 years. And I am a AME and a assessor and moderator, and I do trade test assessments and prep and all the stuff that goes with that.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Colin Fisari. Sorry about the pronunciation, sir.
That's fine. It's Mr. If I was in America, you'd be calling me Mr. Visor. Okay.
Okay.
I'm struggling with my camera. Comes on and goes off. So you might see me, you might not. I'm with ITC. I do quality, safety. I'm an assessor. I'm a moderator and consultant to them, and been in the industry for over 40 years. Work with ATOs, AMOs, and AOCs on quality and safety.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Rebotile.
Yes, morning everyone. I hope you can see.
We can see you, sir.
Sorry?
We can see you.
Okay, yes. My name is Rebotile Masamola. I'm an aircraft mechanic by trade, qualified in 2005, and I've been an instructor since 2011 here at DTA up until now, which is DTA Institute Technical Academy.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Orchid Smith.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Orchid Smith. I'm a licensed aircraft engineer. I'm the accountable manager for the AMO and the Technical Training Center for 43 Air School. I've been in the industry for just over 30 years. And yeah, that's me.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Eddie.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Eddie Mkanduli. I am a licensed AME, an assessor and a moderator. My trade is composite and from South African Airways Technical. I've been with the trade for the last 20 years now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Eddie. Bear with me, there's somebody that we are admitting on the site. In the meantime, Mr. Sylvan Cyril. I hope you are not muted, sir.
Khosi.
Yes, sir.
I think Mr. Cyril has an issue with the mic. He's also from SAA Technical, qualified avionics. Been here for a while.
Okay, Mr. Baoli, thank you very much. Yes, I see his message on the chat.
Sharp.
Okay, no, sharp. We can move to Mr. Kevin.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Martin. I've been in the industry for 20 years. I'm at DTA, Denel Technical Academy. I'm a trade test officer and a trade test prep instructor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We can move to Mr. Colin Mudima.
Khosi, again, apologies. Same issue as Mr. Salwin there. It's also from SAA, qualified avionics, been here for decades and decades.
Okay, thank you, Baholi. Mr. Ismail Slamdin.
Good morning, Ismail Slamdin from SAA Technical. Started here in 1997 with my apprenticeship. Qualified as a mechanic and currently for the last 10 years as an aircraft apprentice instructor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Gareth Foslow.
Thank you, Chair. Gareth Volson is the name. Been in industry for 20 years. Mechanical instructor for 11 years at SAA Technical Training. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone that I missed, maybe by mistake? I apologize. You can just introduce yourself, please.
Yes. Hello?
Yes, Mr. Motelo.
I'm Mr. Maditapa Motelo, working as an aircraft first year mechanical instructor, assessor and moderator at MATA. I've been in the industry for 21 years. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone that I missed again who can introduce himself?
Okay, because I think from CAA side, maybe it's fair that we also introduce ourselves as well, so that people will know who are here from CAA side point of view.
Yes, Mr. Matumba.
Okay.
You can go ahead, Mr.
I'm trying to. Okay, yeah, I'm trying to get my camera here. Colleagues and everyone there, for those that we have not met before, myself, I'm Bernard Matumba. I'm working for CAA in the training department where I'm an inspector for technical training centers. We normally do the checking of the school. I've been with the CAA for around now, I think it's 12 years. Maybe with when I'm still doing this introduction, I might just take this opportunity also to make an announcement from you guys that we know that there are issues regarding the AMEs in the country, especially also regarding the instructors. We just want to confirm to you that we have received all those concerns. From CA point of view, we are working on those concerns. Currently, we got 3 concerns that are very critical that we are working with. We are planning that in a week or 2 weeks, we will be calling you guys as instructors, accountable manager, and the ATO to try to work on those issues. The issues that are on the table now, which we are going to work on, will be the instructors renewal, general courses, examination as well, general exam within the CAA. There is other issues, which is from the Department of Higher Education, NAM, the phase out of avionics trade. So those issues, we are working on them. But I just want to emphasize to you guys today that this workshop is for the EDE, just to explain to you guys what are the EDE, where does it come from, and what are all the requirements and all those things. So for those maybe wanted to ask questions regarding the other issues, I just want to clear that we are working on those questions, on those issues, and we will be calling a meeting in a week or 2 or 3 weeks, as soon as we get all the facts in the place. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Matumba. In the absence of anybody that I excluded, I think we must continue with the agenda of the day. I think some of the questions we can answer. If we can answer today, you can just draft an email to me, copy Mr. Matumba, and then while we are deliberating on other issues, we can add whatever concerns that comes from this meeting. Our last slide, it will be question and answers. So while we are presenting, if there's any question you wanna ask, just put it on the note, and then when we get to question and answer, we can just answer all the questions. More than anything, the workshop itself is the first of its kind, as we are obliged to comply to ICAO requirement of designation. So I hope that we enjoy and learn from each other. This is it's a big elephant. We can't finish it at once, but we'll learn from you guys from the industry, and you also can learn from us, from the regulator. It's not about us saying we know everything. No, it's all about everybody coming together and bringing suggestions on the table, and we can find a way of making AME more professional, like any other faculties that have been moving, and AME has been stagnant for a long time. So I hope we can help each other to build our trade. So we moving forward, I would like to introduce you to the ASO structure, aviation safety operation, which consists of airworthiness, aviation medicine, general aviation, consistency and standardization, flight operation. And then us, when I say us, as you are designated by the director, now we are us. Personal licensing is also part of aviation safety operation. What simply means is that the EDEs will be reporting to personal licensing. Moving forward, some people will ask what is the PEL, personal licensing department? Personal licensing it's a department which license AMEs and everybody else in terms of international standards. Like the document in ICAO say the license provides evidence that issuing states satisfy that the holder has demonstrated international acceptable degree of competence. So this it's done by ASO structure. Under ASO there will be PEL department which it's will do the licensing for pilots, licensing for ATNS, licensing for AMEs, and licensing and designation for ATNS, designation for examiners for pilots, designation for examiners for engineering, the new one that we call EDE. So they all be under ASO structure under PEL department. So our structure consists of the director, who is Miss Poppy, and then we have the executive, which is Mr. Simon Sehwabe, and then we have a senior manager personal licensing, which is Mr. Johan, and then under Mr. Johan, which is a senior manager, we have 3 managers: manager, examination, and licensing and training. EDEs will be under examination, which is Dr. Paul Poko. So these are the names of managers, line managers under Mr. Johan Niemand, who is a senior manager. Licensing is Ms. Neo. Like I said, examination will be Dr. Paul. Training, it will be Mr. Blake Foster. So moving forward, we say the purpose of this workshop. Just to give the background of this regulation, part 666.01.11. I think all of us, we are familiar with it now at this moment. The director may designate an examiner for a period of 1 year in respect of the valid ratings or ratings held by the examiner, sorry, excuse me, to conduct trade testing or student issuance and trade test reports, do oversight on instructors. So the reason we are here is that this regulation has been there for years, but it was never implemented. It was a finding from ICAO that you have this regulation, but it's not yet implemented. So you need to designate examiners under the AME that it will be aligned to this regulation. So that is why we had to designate engineers to fulfill the mandate of ICAO and EASA finding that came to CAA. So the purpose of this workshop is that there are some people who attended our first introductory meeting that we had, which were management only, there were no EDEs because by that time we didn't designate anyone. So this meeting is the first of its kind for those who are already designated or those who are designated at this moment. So it's an introductory meeting to CAA, an introductory meeting to say why we needed to designate you, give you the background why this needed to happen. So in accordance to the regulation as well, you can go through it. It will tell you, for example, examiners designated in terms of the director shall sign and issue to each designated examiner a document, which I think all of us who are designated have already received that document that states your name and what are you designated for. So this is in the regulation, you can go through it. And then we can go again to the purpose of this workshop in terms of aligning to ICAO. This is an initial indoctrination training. So we're going to have workshops and training every maybe 4 times a year for EDEs, just to keep up with the regulation, because the regulation requires that before you come and redesignate, you must prove that you have attended webinars, you have attended conferences or workshops. So we need to comply to that. In addition to that, CAA should normally arrange for recurrent and refresher training to help examiners remain current, to assist in standardization. So there's a purpose of CAA to do that. Moving forward, we say, why are we having this? Like I said previously, as much as it was a finding from IASA, but on our side, we saw it as an opportunity to say there's a bridge that we need to build between us as CAA and the industry. That bridge, it will help us to understand challenges that examiners are facing and how do we solve it together. So it's a matter of us having an understanding. It's not about who's right, who's wrong, who's blaming who. All the challenges that comes in accordance to, because most of you are in the industry and you'll know better than the regulator itself. But the regulator is there to give more support, and we work together to find a solution that will help us to make AME and EDE to be more professional, like any other trades that has been doing this. It was only us as AMEs who were left behind. ATNS, cabin crew, pilots have already had designated examiners for years. We are just starting now as AME to professionalize ourselves and make sure that we become professionals. So the bridge we are building now is that EDEs and the regulator itself must come together and make sure that we contribute towards the building of this EDE. Before, I think when I was still in the industry, when I was still, my trade is I'm an aircraft maintenance engineer. So when I was in the industry, I remember most of the times when they say CAA is coming to the company, we'll be advised to hide our toolboxes and we must run away. When you see them, you run, you don't answer anything. I think that that issue is one of the issues that we need to raise today, to say it needs to change. It can't be that we're becoming enemies, but working together, understanding the concept of industry and understanding where does the regulator coming from with other regulations, then we can work together, find solutions. So we are just trying to change the way we used to do things. At the end of the day, what we need to achieve, I think, for everybody is just the mutual understanding and the mutual respect from the regulator and the industry. Nobody must say that they know better than the others. We are all here to learn from each other. Mr. Matumba, like I advise, if there's any hand or question, I think maybe you let me know. So we can move forward from the same understanding after this workshop, to say, one, nobody is important than anybody else. We are equals, and we need to come together. If there's any challenge, we need to come together, try to resolve those challenges. It will help all of us to make a better AME, to professionalize it, to be one of the best. That's the aim. So we'll move to the background of ICAO in regard to why we need to designate people. Just to give the background, I'm sure everybody is aware that the International Civil Aviation Convention was done on the 7th of December 1944. So people may ask, what is this? We'll say no. South Africa was part and parcel of the agreement that were taken in the convention, because they became a signatory to the convention that was held in 1944. Didi Forsyth from South Africa is the one who, from the Union of South Africa, those years, they agreed that they'll abide by this convention. So the convention, basically, what does it say? It will encourage more of unifying things in the aviation space. You need to do things in a uniform way. So if you have designated people in the States, you need to designate people in South Africa as well. So uniformity it's a part and parcel of what the convention preamble mostly will say. I would like to take your attention to, in order that the international civil aviation may be developed in a safe and orderly manner. So it needs to be safe and it needs to be in an orderly manner. And I'll take your attention again to say, on Convention Article 12, each contracting state undertakes to keep its own regulation in this respect uniform. So the word uniform, it's very important. To the greatest possible extent, there must be uniformity in the greatest possible way. So standards and recommended practice, they speak more of uniform application recognized as necessary. Recommendation practice, again, uniform application recognized as desirable. So everything needs to be, most of the time, uniform to move as designated engineers in the States. There must be a level of what you call uniform from the designation of engineers in South Africa. There must be designated people in South Africa. So that's why we need to comply, so that we must have at least uniform of international standards. So I think we have pushed to halfway of what we need to cover. I'll say at this moment, as most of us who have joined the meeting earlier, maybe let's just grab coffee or tea and then come back at 0950. Okay.
Het jy van mense gevra daar?
Ja, ek het hom nou gedruk, ek het Fokko.
Wat doen niks daar? Voor de...
Hallo?
Nog nie.
Ja, hallo, oké, ek hoor jou.
Sien jy is dit. Nee, dit is Alf en Philip.
Oh, sorry. Hi. Ja, almal is op 'n vinnige 10 minute breek.
Okay, maar ons het gesukkel om in te kom.
Ja, daar's 'n paar mense wat gesukkel het. So as hulle terugkom, hulle sal 10 voor 10 hier wees.
Okay, thank you. I think we must speak English in any case. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, they'll be back at 10 to
thank you
10.
for that.
Thank you.
We will just introduce ourselves.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
Moet hom net weer. Want dan nou weer
Good morning again, colleagues. Can I get a thumbs up if all of us we are back?
Morning, it's Alf Jooste here, and Philip Engelbrecht is with me as well.
Okay, no, thank you, sir, for joining us. I think you are sharing the is it a laptop or something that you are sharing? Because I
Yes,
see
that is
two names.
correct. We thought we can have 3 to 4 instructors with us in one room, but unfortunately we are struggled with this link. So it's now myself and Alf here from DTA. We are
Okay,
sharing one
sir.
computer now here.
Okay, sir. Can I advise that when we do the register, you each must sign the register, not one.
We will
Like
do
even
that.
if you are sharing the laptop, but when you do the register, you must sign individually, please.
Okay, I'm going to send that register through. How is it working?
Yes, it will be sent on the chat, sir. You'll see it when it comes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Master Matumba, can you advise if you see my screen?
Jose, I can see, but there's a Turkey farmer. It's like it's a movie.
Okay.
I think you are not yet at the back in the screen that's supposed to be shown.
No. I want this one. The Turkey
Okay.
farmer. Yes, yeah. Colleagues, let's continue. I just want to draw your attention to this video. This video it speaks to examiner. This is the pilot examiner, but it's relevant to us as well. Basically, I just want us to check the attitude of the examiner, and maybe we can debate further about that as we go along with our presentation before we get to stages of excuse me. There are certain stages that I want us, when we get there, maybe we can refer to the video and maybe answer a few questions or comment in regard to this. So I hope it plays, and I hope you can hear. Can you hear the video?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, come on in.
Mr. Glasso, I'm Denzel Gunnell. I'm here for private pilot flight test.
Yeah, sit down. Speak up. I can hardly hear you. Put your books down.
Okay.
Well, let me see the application.
Okay, the application. Yeah, right here.
Kind of old to be going for a private pilot certificate, aren't you?
No, I don't think so. Feel pretty young.
What'd you do before you decided to become a pilot?
Well, I've been working at this turkey farm about 50 miles north of here the last 28 years.
Turkey farm. Got all kinds in here. This is all wrong. Man, I can't read that.
What's wrong? I did this myself.
Big turkey scratch. And over here, where it says class of certificate, you don't put down a class you took, the college or wherever it was. That means your student pilot certificate. That's what you put in
well,
there.
My instructor, he just gave me this and told me to fill it out, so I thought I had it right. You got an eraser? I can erase it.
No, we don't erase those. Put it over there.
Oh, okay. Right here?
Yeah, probably worked in a turkey farm with you there. Give me
logbooks? Bring the aircraft logbooks. Let me have them.
They're still in the airplane.
Will do us a lot of good out there.
Well, hey, I'll go get them. You want the logbooks then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll go get them. Be right back.
Okay, colleagues. I think we have seen the video, but more. I want us to deliberate on my side the attitude of the examiner. Is there anybody just give me a brief thing? What do you feel about the attitude of the examiner towards the candidate?
Can I go, Kosi?
Yes, sir, you can go.
All right,
Well, from my
thanks.
side, I would say that it
Basically,
was
what I'm
pretty
picking
much
up, obviously, the
very
examiner
unprofessional.
himself is hostile towards the candidate. So the attitude, it's not acceptable. I mean, we are not pulling towards the same direction in this way. We are not working together. So I'm thinking that attitude overall, it's unacceptable. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. Anyone who can add?
I would say yes. I will also add that that the examiner could have rather assisted the student in completing the documents correct. Which means, yeah, his bad attitude and asking for documents, which is actually, it looks like it's not relevant to the test, my opinion. Why do you need an aircraft logbook if you're going to test for a pilot? So yes, I agree with our colleague that his attitude is quite bad towards a student. And this will also put the student under lots of pressure, which he actually uses, that you're setting him up to fail if your attitude toward the student is like that.
Thank you, sir. I agree 100%. I think we'll have different views about the attitude of the examiner. The reason we play the video is just to take you and give you something that during the presentation will engage further and refer to the video again in terms of the TGM. What does the TGM say about the attitude of the examiner in response to comparing to the video that we played? And then we can engage further regarding that. So to move forward, we're going to do tests and checks in accordance to the TGM and ICAO reference. And what is the difference between test and checks? They say test means an initial test carried out for the purpose of issuing of a license. So for us, it will be relevant as EDEs because we do that skill test so that when somebody goes and apply for an AME license, we must be comfortable that he was tested by somebody who's the director trusted that they can do a good work for the regulator. So for us, it's relevant because of that. And then the competency check for us, it will mean that the check carried out for the maintenance of competency of a AME license. Yeah, we know a lot of things that we can do to check for maintenance of competency. Some of the things that we do are refresher courses. We must always be current, do our renewals. We must always test our AMEs all the time to check if they are still relevant in the industry. Take them to courses, human factors, SMSs, just to keep the competency checked. The note that I want you to check is that it says EDEs act on behalf of the DCA. When you are designated, now you are acting on behalf of the DCA because she's the one who designated you. while conducting skill test. So this one is important so that it takes us back to the bridge. Everybody must know his or her responsibility. Whether you are an ED, whether you are an AO, authorized officer, when he's at your workplace, all of us must know our responsibility. EDE act on behalf of DCA while conducting skills test must be not succumb to business pressure. It's very important that you must not succumb to business pressure. As much as you work for an ATO, but whatever that we find that is not right in an A2O, our TGM tells us that we have a right to complain, and there's channels that are stipulated. How do you go about complaining to whether the regulator or the management of the ATO itself? Test and checks, we continue there. It says an EDE shall conduct thorough pre-assessment. This is in the TGM, just to say what is expected of the EDE during the test or checks. Where an AO is present, this one is very important for oversight purposes. If Mr. Matumba or me, we are there for an oversight, this is very important to know, but you can refer to the TGM as well. This it's stipulated clearly in the TGM. When AO is present for oversight purposes, it is imperative to explain to the candidates that the role of an AO is to oversight the ED, nothing else. So we're talking here about collaboration between the regulator and the ED. If we don't know each other's boundaries again, we're going to cause problems. So everybody must know his boundaries. Everybody must know, even if the AO, even if CA, when it's present, that doesn't mean that we must run around. We must know our responsibility, that the ED must do this. The AO, he came there to oversee the ED, not the candidate who's doing exams. That can cause a friction if it's not put correctly. The AO may challenge an outcome that we can read further on the TGM. 11.5 we can read further as well on our TGM. I just wanted to get you to the point of responsibilities for each candidate. Tasks and checks. I think all of us, when I was doing the applications for different candidates, I realized that the experience in aviation is huge. Everybody has been in the aviation for a long time. I think we all understand certain principles of assessing and certain principle of when we are instructors and examiners. So when we do our skill test, there are certain things that we want to achieve at the end of the day. What is the objective of that test? Standards of the test, the performance of the candidate. How must it be? Observation. How do we observe it? The assessment itself. How must the assessment be and all that? These are things that are stipulated in the TGM as well that we can read through as EDEs. Then there's things, the errors that we can do as EDEs that we must know about and try to always avoid it, because we can't say everyone is perfect, but there are things that we must know. Once you know it, sometimes consciously you avoid it. Personal biasness error. This one it's something that you find that a lot of candidates they complain about. Generosity errors. Errors are indicated by a tendency to grade an individual as competent based on recommendation or personal relationship with the candidate. We tend to do that, and this can cause a problem when we look at what we have done in comparing to the code of conduct you signed as an EDE to be designated. So when the candidate comes and complain, and we do our own investigations, and we find that there's errors that are obvious that have been done, then it becomes a challenge. Then remember in our designation certificate that we all got, it says the date of the expiring it's this, but the certificate can be revoked by the director. So the certificate can be revoked based on some of errors that we can do, but we can always consult the TGM in terms of knowing and trying to avoid this. Severity errors, halo effect, logical errors. So I'll advise that we go through our TGM and see what we can remember and try to avoid at all times. Mr. Matumba, I'm still in there that if there's any hand, you can advise, but I can see there's no question up to so far. We can move. So the next slide, it will talk more of the attributes of an EDE. What are the attributes of an EDE? One, we know that you represent the DCA because you are designated by the DCA. We know that you have to have a basic knowledge of ICAO. We all know that we advocate SACAA vision and mission, but we can ask again if you don't know, what is SACAA vision and mission? We can assist again and say the vision of CAA is to be a world-class civil aviation regulator. So we abide by this because we are designated by the examiner. We become colleagues now. We all working for the director. Mission to regulate civil aviation safety and security in support of sustainable development of aviation. These are vision and mission of SACAA. Brand promise, keep you safe in the sky. Values, integrity, service, excellence, teamwork, collaboration. These are our strategic intent, that everyone who is designated by the examiner, whether you are an authorized officer or you are an examiner, you must abide by this vision and mission and brand promise. Familiar with cats and cars, has operational experience. I think all of the EDEs designators, they have operational experience. Is an assessor. Everyone who's designated is an assessor. It must be professional. We sign the code of conduct that says we will be professional. Has integrity, referring to the code of conduct. Is a mentor. So I don't think the video, when we check the candidate and the examiner is a mentor, because even when the candidate was saying, let me just now rectify the form as you wanted, he said no. So you are putting a boundary between you and the candidate in terms instead of advising. Is unbiased and uncompromised. These are the attributes of the EDE. Is a partner. Is customer centric. So these are just the attributes of the EDE in accordance to SACAA. And then we move to qualification of an EDE. I don't think that it's an issue at this moment, as everyone is designated, and we are all aware about the qualifications that we submitted, and the director was happy with all of the qualifications that all the EDEs has submitted. So that we can also refer to EDE in part 66. It will give us our qualification. So we refer now to qualification of EDE in accordance to the ICAO. What does ICAO say about an EDE? In particular, standard examiners are the main arbiters of entry standards for aviation system. So the examiners are very important, because when you do the skill test, the candidate, when he comes and apply, he becomes an engineer, he must pass by the examiner. You must set an example, thorough knowledge of licensing system and high personal integrity in accordance to ICAO, experience and current practitioners. You must be current, you must be experienced, should not be in doubt. You must be firm, whether you believe something is right, is right. Firmness doesn't mean you are weak. You just being firm because you can see that this needs a position that needs to be taken. We must avoid conflict of interest. This one is very interesting to me because the next slide will deal more with conflict of interest, how to avoid conflict of interest and what is conflict of interest. And then furthermore on qualification, in accordance to ICAO, they should also have no professional or personal conflict of interest with their examining function. So this is very important to consider, but we'll cover the conflict of interest as we go to the next slides. Like I said, we'll cover conflict of interest. So we'll have three definitions of conflict of interest. A situation in which a person is in position of a derived personal benefit from action or decision made in their official capacity. Second definition is a conflict of interest occurs when an entity or individual becomes unreliable because of a clash between personal interest and professional duties or responsibility. Definition number three, a conflict of interest arises when what is a person's best interest is not in the best interest of another person or organization to which that individual owes loyalty. So I would like to pose two questions. What examples can you really refer to as a conflict of interest that can derive when you are an examiner? A situation that you always think that you can put yourself under the bus because you have done something that it's not aligned to what you as an examiner must not do. So examples of conflict of interest that anybody can just give me, I'll appreciate. One or two is fine.
One of the things that a person that you know is 100% not correct for passing the exam, yet there's pressure put on you to ensure that the person passes.
That's correct. That's one of the examples. That is why we refer to it that as an EDE, you don't succumb to pressure of the organization. But I'll further say examples that I'll give is EDE is the owner of the ATO. Conflict of interest. Financial interest. Financial motivation. Familiar relationship with candidate. These are over and above of what we can come up with on the conflict of interest. So it's not limited to, and we know that there can be a lot. So Rob King defined conflict of interest this way. He said conflict of interest, recognizing them, avoid them, manage them. Recognize them, avoid them, manage them. So you must know that they exist. You are a human being. If your family member, you are familiar with them and he needs to test, but there's a way that maybe you can excuse yourself from that and say, this is be seen as conflict of interest to me. Those are things that you must know and manage and avoid them. We are moving to the end of the workshop. You say aviation is the branch of the engineering that is least forgiving of mistakes. Freeman Dyson. So this you can take home. Aviation is the branch of engineering that is least forgiving of mistakes. So in the absence of anything, we can move to questions that if you have, will be gladly we can answer. If we can answer now, we can give you an email later. To remind the colleagues again, we'll circulate the attendance register and the comment form. Please fill the form and send it back to, I think, Mr. Sin. Am I correct? Yes, and then Mr. Sin will gladly send the comments to me later at a later stage. So I'll be happy to take any questions or comments in regard to the presentation. And remember, answers that we cannot give today, we can also give later when we respond to certain issues. Thank you very much, colleagues, to attend this. I've seen that some of the colleagues came late. Maybe it's because of the link was giving them problems. This is a big elephant. We'll eat it slowly until it becomes something that we all tailored to be for all of us. The aim here is to professionalize AME to the level or the standard of all designation that has been happening for years in South Africa. We are starting now as AMEs, but we'll catch up with other designation. For that, I would like to say thank you very much for coming.
Jose, we got 3 hands. First will be Chris, and then Eddie will follow. Okay, number 3.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. You can come.
Thank you, Mr. Matum.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Chris, you can start, please.
Thanks, Bernard. Thank you. I just have a couple of questions. So it's been mentioned again that the EDE is only valid for 1 year. Are we not looking at making it so that it runs concurrently with the AME license and the instructor license? I do believe that was one of the points that was raised in the first meeting. The second question I have is with regards to the CIA refresher training. For the EDE, that would be quite useful to know a bit more about where and how that is going to happen going forward. Obviously, I know this is still fairly new, so that needs to still be put into place. Then, at the moment, one of my concerns is that there's going to be too many people in the trade test, because now we've got your trade test officer or your trade test assessor, you have an internal moderator, now we add in an EDE to it, and possibly an AO. This is starting to get way past what is considered fair for a candidate. So we might need to look at combining the trade test officer and EDE, or just going the EDE alone. That's me.
Okay, Mr. Kraft, thank you very much for the questions. I think we can, Mr. Matumba, I don't know how you want us to do it. We can answer Chris, and then we move to other candidates.
I think the best way, let's answer Chris, because I see the questions are not that, so that we can move to the next candidate, to the next question. I don't know if you want to take all those questions, or must I?
Yeah, you can quickly answer them, Mr. Matumba. It's fine.
Okay. Gentlemen, the first question was the EDE 1 year. It's issued now currently for 1 year. Definitely there, we are working on the issue that the EDE must be in line with your AME license. So we probably by the time when you guys have to renew your license, we should have finalized that process so that the EDE status will be in line. It will be actually what we are working on now is going to be part of your license. So it will be endorsed in your license, and we will try to get it that it must be 2 years as your license, so that you don't have to renew all the other issues. You don't have to renew the EDE or AME or what you call. So that will be one package that we are working on, and we are looking also at the issue of that it should be at least 2 years. The second issue there that you said will be the issue of refresher training. There, I think maybe I can just give a guideline on of how we do the refresher training. I guess also this is the recurrent training. If I'm not answering it the way your question, the way it was supposed to be, then you'll just align us on that one. With the refresher training, the way we take it from CAA side is that once the ATO is approved to do a certain course, maybe it can be an aircraft type course, and then if you guys you want to you will be automatical. That course, once it's approved, you will be automatically have that right of conducting refresher training on that particular course that have been approved in your ATO. For example, if you got an ATO which is approved to conduct a 737 classic or new generation, then it means that you automatically can conduct that refresher training. What our airworthiness inspectors, when they conduct their inspection in the AMO, if they want to verify that the recurrent or refresher training that was conducted, the AME was adequate. They check at your OPSPEC to see that are you approved to conduct that kind of training. And with that one, if you can have a follow-up question if I didn't answer it right. The third question will be the question of that you suspecting that there will be a lot of people during the trade testing. Remember, with the EDE, our purpose, our aim is that the guys we're still going to communicate that with the schools and the trade test centers that are going, so that the person who is going to conduct the trade test should be able to be a EDE. So we are not expecting to add an EDE when the trade test is conducted. So the same person who conducted that test should be also act as a EDE. Remember, guys, that we are not going to add any task in those trade tests. So exactly the way you are conducting the trade test, that's exactly how you are going to conduct it. But at the end of that trade test, instead of you doing paperwork for NAM, which is going to QCTO to issue a certificate at the end of the day, you will have an additional paperwork of CAA, which will be your EDE status, where you will be completing to see that you have conducted the trade test, and then as a approved EDE, also you are happy, and then you will also, so there won't be any additional task currently. That's how it will be. So the same person who conducted the trade test will be the ideally that person should be the same, should be the EDE as well. Chris, I'm not sure if you got all the answers and if you're happy with them. I think we can move on to AD. If you want to add something there, or Vic there.
Yeah, just to add again on too many people during the trade test, just to advise the colleagues is that NAM, TITA, and SACAA, we are having engagements, including the Department of Education as well, to come up with a solution to have this all the requirements, maybe to one of the issues, this is the requirements that we need to set and talk about. These issues of too many people, it will also be addressed there. How do we go about doing it? So rest assured that we'll give feedback as soon as the meeting with the department and TITA and NAMP is concluded. That will be communicated. Eddie, you can go.
Sorry, just to.
All right.
Please
Thank you, Chair.
Sorry, Eddie.
Industry. Sorry. When you're having this meeting with NAM, QCTO, CAA, invite industry, because, guys, the trade test is 80 years out of date. It needs to become more in line. We need to streamline it. So please, when you are having that meeting, get the ATOs and the trade test centers involved, because really it's a shambles at the moment.
Okay. Can take it, Master Matuma.
Okay. Yeah, with that, colleagues, what is going to happen? We will be having a meeting with NAM TITA in a few weeks. However, there are other internal issues that we need to address with them. As soon as we're done with that, as I said when we started that, we will be having a meeting with you guys. So we are expecting that they will be part of that meeting. So that have been considered.
Yeah, and just to add again from that side, Chris, is that I was worried to see that most of the meetings when AMEs are complaining that they are not invited to meetings like the CACOM as well, they are not part of it. Somebody was saying pilots are taking decisions for them and whatever. We'll try by all means in this engagement as EDEs to also form a committee so that we can see what committees meetings the AMEs needs to sit on, so that we can also have a voice in most of the committees without people feeling that pilots are taking decisions for them. We'll try by all means. Can we move to Eddie? And then we go to Mr. Ockett Smith and then Mr. Alf and Phillips.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chair. Mine are only 2 submissions, with the first one being actually a request. Considering that some of our colleagues joined us at a later stage, will you be able to share with us that PowerPoint presentation, be it in PDF, but as long as you can share information so that we can all go through it again. Secondly, I am just concerned with the engineering designated examiners. I see it covers mostly your mechanical avionics, structures and composites, and an ATO like myself, we also have got some extended trades, including your aircraft trimming and painting. So I just wanted to know, going forward, how are we going to accommodate those trade test practitioners as well to form part of this ADEs? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eddie. Look, to answer your first question is that before we end this meeting, I will take you through the website. This recording, it will be under those EDE on the website. So when you go to the website anytime, you'll find important information about the ED, the forms, everything, including this recording. It will be uploaded by relevant people or on the EDE, where you find the EDE names and the workshops that have taken place. So it will be easy for anyone to just access it. Number 2, the concern of other trades, it's one of the engagements that we are having with TITA and NAMP in 3 weeks' time. I spoke to affected ATOs regarding that and say, remember, there's a requirement from SAA and there's a requirement from NAMP and TITA. So how do we align those requirements to accommodate even those. You find that the regulator will say they want you to have a license, but on the other side, it says you can just be an assessor without an AME license. So those are issues that we are engaging on to streamline the EDE and other issues between TITA and the regulator. It will be done, and the feedback will be given to the affected ATOs.
I thank you, Chair.
Thanks. Master Matumba, you want to add?
Yes, I can just add in the second question that as you have said it, as Kosi have said it before when we started, that this is a big elephant, so we will try to eat it piece by piece. So this ED we are just starting with it now. So we are hoping that in the near future we will be looking at our other trades. And also you'll remember that in terms of licensing as well, we haven't yet finalized to issue those like your welders, your welding, we haven't issued the licensing. So those are still coming. We are just that currently the avionics, sheet metal and mechanic are the one that we feel that we start with. So, but it's not going to be limited to that. We're still going to work going forward. It's just that we cannot do all the same thing, all the things at the same time. We try to do bit by bit. As soon as we see that everything now it's been settled in terms of EDE in the mechanic, avionics, then we will proceed to the other trades. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Master.
Yeah, in terms of hands, I think OCAD will be the next one, and then from there we'll have Alf and Philip.
Okay, sir. Master OCAD.
Gentlemen, yes, I would like to say the EDE is a very good idea, but you guys can have a meeting of NAM. My question is, according to ACAO, the regulator should be in charge of the trades, which currently it is not. So are you guys going to change the regulation to accommodate NAM? One, and then because NAM says CAA is not in charge of trade testing, which becomes a problem for trade test centers. Number two, you are going to assess it, as far as I heard, the assessors, that's currently assessors that aren't even qualified to become an EDE. In that case, if NAM don't change their mind, you will have 2 people during a trade test, which as far as I know is not allowed. Number 3, the financial burden to be a EDE. Since the EDE works on behalf of CAA, there's costs to it. The guy needs to send documentation to CAA, all those things cost money. Why does the EDE have to pay money to the CAA to renew the EDE ship? I think we can come to a compromise there. The one hand washes the other hand. And then an appeal process. While you're talking to NAM, you're going to have to figure out an appeal process, or how will CAA handle an appeal process if a student appeals with regards to his trade test, which he might have failed, or one of the subjects which he failed, he's allowed to appeal. And at the moment, the accountable manager of the trade test center, if everything lines up, can overturn the result. That's all.
Okay, thanks, Master OCAD. The first question that you raise regarding NAMP and SACAA, we will just want to advise that let's engage with NAM and TITA and Department of Education, because there's a lot of changes that are coming that obviously they will have effect or on the trade test and CAA license itself. But the invitation is it's on the 24th of this month. We are sitting all parties. I think after that meeting, we'll have a clear direction. How do we move at this moment, we can't give clear answers because we'll be just speculating. Maybe some of the things that are raised now are issues that will be resolved in that meeting. The financial burden, Mr. Matumba, do you want to take this one?
Yeah. Okay. I think there was a second question as well. The financial burden was the third one, but yeah.
No, the appeal process is the third one. I'll take that one.
Okay. Yeah, the issue of financial burden, colleague, you'll remember that when you guys do this application, there was no payment required. So currently, what we are doing, we are still discussing this matter further to see how it is going to work, because you'll remember that as an EDE, we are expecting that obviously you must have, there must be something, there must be, you cannot do this work for free. So we are still working on the model to see how this is going to be, how this process, how it is going to be financed. From that, once we get that response, then that's when we will, that's when the final decision will become to say whether there will be payment or how it's going to work. But obviously, we're not going to expect, we are not expecting that EDE will be renewing their license, paying to renew their license at the end of the day when they are not getting anything. And also that they will be doing this job on behalf of CAA when they are not doing anything. Currently, we haven't finalized the real model of how the EDE will also have to be remunerated or get financial assistance. So as soon as we come with the model, we will be having a meeting again so that we will communicate that outcome to you guys.
Bernard, sorry for interrupting. I forgot something. Will there be a requirement for ATO to set up a letter of understanding or a service level agreement for the use of EDEs? You must remember, EDEs are employed by companies, and now they also work for CAA in brackets. As far as I know, in the AMO situation, we have to have a service level agreement with subcontractors, and that's basically classified as a subcontractor.
Differently, that will happen. But as I said, we're still now in the early stage, we're still discussing it. Remember, this issue of finance from CA point of view, it's not something that we can only discuss it at the inspector level. It's the things that it might have to go also to the board level. So we are discussing that thing. We are going to work. As Jose already says, when we started with this, other activities like your pilots, your cabin crew, your air traffic control, they already have ADEs, and they have a mechanism where they are financing those EDE are getting income. So we might have maybe to learn from those people. But as soon as we take the final decision, we'll sit with you guys and discuss and see if that's the appropriate solution.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, the last question in regard to, can I add again, Mr. Matumba, on the issue of financial, again, as you have said clearly that other professions have already been in that field of designated examiner for a long time, and we need to learn from them. That is why it will be important, like I said, that from meetings that we'll have as EDEs, we'll need to have at least 2 or 3 people as committee representing EDEs in the industry, so that those issues when we deliberate, maybe we can invite few people. But there's options that the ATNS has taken, and there's options that the cabin crew has taken in terms of remuneration and assistance. Pilots are different because pilots are not hired by ATOs. Most of them are independent people who are doing examiners. So the ones that are close to us is the ATNS, designated examiners, and the cabin crew. So we will sit down and also find a way how do we move forward from there and learn from the other professions. The appeal process, it will be one of the issues that will be what we call in the next meeting. We will give a clear direction how we're gonna move with the appeal process, how it's gonna be, and all that. The most important thing is also to check the appeal process of TITA and NAMP, and also check the other designated examiners in terms of the regulation, and then we can draft an appeal process that's suitable to the EDE in terms of SACAA processes. That will be one of the things that in the next meeting will give a clear direction regarding that.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Alf.
Hi, it's Philip speaking here. I'm sitting here with all. My question is here, let me just make this clearly. We all know that certain qualifications was being rewritten to a new generation qualifications. Currently, it's almost 4 years later, and no corresponding was been given to us regarding the new trade test methods which we're going to utilize on these new qualifications. So my question is here, when certain individuals are going to have a meeting here with NAM, is to point out that we are running out of time to develop this new trade test method or new exams. So we need to get people involved to sit together and do a brainstorming before we starting develop and decided what we want to do. How we're going to test for people, what new methods can we utilize, what old methods we want to get rid of. So if I may ask, whenever you guys going to have a meeting with NAM, please put it on the agenda for us, because we are phoning, and they say they are waiting for QCTO. We're waiting for this. I even written emails to QCT and I don't get any response from them. And lastly, thank you for this meeting. I think this was long overdue. I can see that we all want the same outcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alf. I think even on our side as the regulator, there's changes that NAMP is coming with that maybe this meeting that they invited us to, it will clarify what exactly are they proposing, and what will be the effect of this to the regulator, and just to give the comfort is that we'll put these questions in our next meeting with NAMP. Then we'll also advise after the meeting, or when or on our next meeting together, we'll give the response from their side. I also, I don't know, Mr. Alf and Phillips, is it an old hand, or you just want to have a follow-up?
All done. Thank you.
Okay, sir. I realize that AMEs in general, when I look at other professions, is that because we are behind with forming committees that can take issues of AME forward. And I think we need to start now to professionalize our own trade and make sure that we sit on those tables, because we can't be excluded, keep on being excluded to table. So it's up to us to bring suggestions, like when I started this thing, to say suggestions are important, even to us as a regulator, to say, guys, there's a CARCOM meeting that sits at CAA, but you find that most of the AMEs, they say they were not invited. And then the pilots take decisions. After the decision is taken, we get shocked that some of the people will say, no, but we are not party to this decision. But if you look at the CARCOM meeting, maybe some were invited, were not there. So I think it's high time that we must form these committees that will sit on different tables and inform other AMEs and bring suggestions on the table so that we can professionalize our licenses. So in the absence of questions or comments, I would really appreciate to close here. Like we said when we started, some questions we can't give answers now, but as we move forward with this, I think it will be important to know that we'll finish this elephant piece by piece. Before we close, please sign the attendance register, which was posted on the chats, and the comment feedback form as well. If you can complete that, it's important to be recorded as an attendance, because when you do your renewal of EDE certificate, your name must appear on this conference. So it will be important. Even if you are sharing the equipment, please sign individually. Mr. Okat, I see your hand.
Celia, just a comment.
Yes, sir.
Marta and 43 Year School is working on a proposal to change Part 66 to bring it more in line with the EASA and the FAA kind of operating. We will share it with you guys for comment, and you might need to take this to your NAM meeting, because I think it's a good suggestion from industry, as it will align us more with international standards. I'm just putting it out there.
Okay, sir. No, thanks. It's things like this that we say, like Mr. Matumba said, me and him, we are AMEs.
Yeah,
I think.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if somebody wants to say something. Chris again. Mr. Kraft. Maybe you are muted.
Yeah, just
sir.
me. Yes. Hi. Sorry. Just to add to that, it's also yes. It's hold on. Sorry. There we go. Sorry. Hi. Yes, 8 gives us the okay, it gives us the authority to do competency-based training and examinations per year. That's what we're looking at.
Okay, sir. Like we said, we really appreciate all the suggestions that are coming. I think it's high time now we also have a roundtable and form committees that are relevant to take this AME forward, guys. The issue that I realize is that we've been on the back foot for a long time, and it's up to us for the next generation to make sure that this our license it's aligned to international standard, and by doing that, it will take the regulator and the industry to come together and work together for the benefit of the AME. So thank you, guys. I think you will send us that document. We can peruse it before the meeting and see if we can put it as an agenda or something in that meeting, or as a suggestion to be considered. But that will happen. Mr. Bernard?
Yeah, okay, yes, thank you. With that there is a regulation that you guys want to propose. That will be a great thing that FAO we engage and work together as a team that will assist. From CAA point of view, in terms of regulation, we got a committee that normally it will be much quicker and easier if we work together as a team, so that when that proposal goes to CACOM, at least there won't be any go up and down with that documentation because we will be already work on it. So I'm suggesting that let's work together on that documentation, and if there is a need that we can involve other organizations or schools, if we work as a group and we take it to CACOM as a group, then it make much easier.
Yes, okay.
Yes, yeah, and just to add on I think it was Mr. Philip who said about the review of the qualification. As we have said that we will be meeting with NEM in a few days. We wish it should be have been quicker, but however, due to our commitment, probably we will be meeting with them before the end of this month. So this is the issue of qualification. It is one of the issues that will be in the agenda that we'll discuss, and we're hoping that after that meeting with NEM and TITA, probably with QCTO, we will have a meeting with all stakeholders so that we can discuss and work together as a team to one goal.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Matumba. I think the meeting is confirmed for the 24th of this month. Yeah, so on the 24th we'll be meeting. That's a confirmation. The other issue that I wanted to ask from the colleagues is that who's sitting at the CACOM meetings? Is there somebody who represent AMEs at CACOM?
Yes, sir. I've been doing it since January this year.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. No problem. At least there's somebody there. But I think we will engage as well with OTIA and see how many people can sit in the committee from the same profession. So we'll also give the feedback. Maybe 2 or 3 people that represent AMEs in that CACOM meetings. So, like Mr. Matumba said, it will be much easier when we have regulation proposals that when we go to these meetings, AMEs are represented there. Colleagues, I hope you have seen the form, the attendance register, and you have seen the comment form. If we can just fill those forms and so that we can have proof of this. I wanted to show you, I don't know whether it's necessary, where will you get this recording when you look for it in the website? Because it's I find questions most of the times that even the forms, people can find forms and all relevant things that what is this now? Chrome update. Because I just wanted to go, but my Chrome now is giving me problems. I don't know what's wrong. Yeah. So this is where we'll get EDE stuff on the website. We go to examinations, which we all know that we like I said on the presentation, that examination is where the EDEs will be reporting to. Then we have engineering designated examiners. Yeah. Then if you look at all the names of the engineering designated examiners, is published on our website. It's here. So when you go to useful information for EDE and conferences, This recording will be here. It will be added here. Sorry. It will be added here under this EDE conference. So whoever wants to access the recording, you just go to the website, examination, designated examiners, and then you find the information regarding the examiner. So the TGM as well is here, the application form is here, the competency check report, it's here as well. So whenever you need, these forms are available. PDF, you just print, you use the forms. So, but if you have any challenges, you can give me a call anytime. We can assist. So I hope this was helpful, and the colleagues have enjoyed the workshop. We'll see you again next time. As usual, we'll communicate all the developments. Thank you, and thank you very much for attending this workshop.
Thank you, Khosi.
Okay,
Bye.
sir. Bye-bye. Master Matumba and Mr. Sen, we can just be on the line. Thank you, guys. Enjoy your day. I don't know whether Mr. Ismail and Alf, they still can hear us. Let me call him. Mr. Sin and Mr. Matumba, Mr. Ismail, I tried to call him to leave the meeting, but he doesn't answer. But what I wanted to check for Mr. Sin, that are we okay? Did everybody fill the forms, or you're gonna see it later maybe?
I'm going to check it later.
Okay, sir. Mr. Matumba, we are okay. I think
Yeah,
the meeting went well, if I may say so.
I think the meeting went well. I think we have tried our best. So if there are anything which is outstanding, we'll still have to iron them in the later stage. But so far, we try to give them as much information that we have so far. So to me, I will say, yeah, it went well. Well done. Thank you.
Okay, sir. No, thank you, Mr. Sin. Thank you, Mr. Matumba. I'll wait for that those forms then, Mr. Sin. Thank
Pleasure.
you.
So yeah, so what I'll do is I normally like just give it 24 hours so that people actually have a chance to fill it in and put whatever feedback they want. Then I'll share the attendance register and feedback form with you. What I did was I did save also. I also, just as a cover, I saved the attendance register which comes up on Teams when there were, I think, 18 or 17 people in the meeting. So we have that as a backup just in case we get less people filling in the form.
Okay, sir. No, thanks very much, man.
Pleasure.
We have a meeting that was scheduled for the 7th of September for the same people. I will suggest that we postpone it for further notice because I think the attendance was good on my side because I was expecting 16. Let me see how many people we have as per. We have 18 EDEs, and I see the meeting was attended by some of were sharing the equipment, so everybody was in the meeting. So we just made an alternative date just in case some people don't attend, so that they can attend on the 7th. But it's not a requirement for us to do it every month. Can we? How do we postpone that with communications to say on the website they can just say the 7th conference it's postponed?
So what you can do is were you speaking with Ms. Marie Bray regarding the posting onto the website?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so just chat to her and just tell her to just do the amendment for you. She'll be able to quickly do it for you.
Okay, no problem. I'll do that. Okay, so how do we now send it to her, the recording or the presentation, to post it on the website, or are you guys doing that?
Just give it some time because I set up the meeting.
Yes.
I will get the Teams recording and the meeting recording.
Okay.
But Teams takes a while to what's the word? To process the recording, especially if it's a long one like this one over here. If it's like over an hour, the Microsoft Team takes a while for it to process the recording. So maybe just give it till tomorrow morning. Then I'll send you the OneDrive link to the Teams meeting, so you can then just send it to Marie Bray.
Okay, sir. No, thanks. Thank you very much.
And
Thank
then
you for your. Sorry.
No, so if you have any future like ED webinars or any webinars from your side, just obviously contact Mr. Papi Maja. He'll then obviously allocate it to either myself or any of the colleagues in the department to assist you.
Thank you, Mr. Sim. Thank you very much. Mr.
No worries.
Matumba, thank you very much. We'll see each other next week, man. I'm not coming this week. It's my last day today.
Okay, so I think the meeting went well. Well done. So we'll talk next week.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks very much for coming to assist us in this. That we really appreciate it, and we're really going to engage you in the future meetings that we are going to have a workshop.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to assist, guys.
Thanks very much.
Just any webinars, just obviously contact the departments, chat to Papi my mail, and then we'll myself or any of our team in aviation development or in comms will be able to assist you with your webinars to make sure it goes successfully.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. We'll do that. Thank you.
Pleasure. Have a good day, guys.
You too.
Cheers,
Man.
Okay.
Bye.
Good day. Bye.